Moments before he climbed into a rideshare to the airport, they hugged in the kitchen of their Brooklyn home. She reminded him of her only request whenever he travels. Her 31-year-old son sent her a message after his first full day in Bogotá on February 24th, and the second day, and the third day. He did not check in on his fourth night, so she called him instead. His American passport was on a wooden dresser near the apartment unit entrance, according to a report from police investigators in Bogotá. But his phone, iPad, and wallet had vanished, his mother said. And so began Hyacinth Watson's 5-month ordeal to unravel the mystery on how her only child died in an unfamiliar country, more than 2,000 miles away. Without her son's phone, which likely would have offered clues, the grieving mother was left to wonder, how did he spend his final days? Was he alone when he died inside the white stucco apartment building? And why did his red canvas suitcase, which arrived months later, contain petite feminine clothes, along with his items? He was an avid solo traveler and had been to a handful of countries, including Japan, Brazil, Mexico, and France. After his 1-week stay in Colombia, he was planning to go to Portugal. Colombia is an increasingly popular travel destination for Americans and other international tourists. From January to June this year, more than a quarter of foreign visitors to Colombia were from the U.S., according to the nation's tourism ministry. It listed Bogotá as having the largest percentage of non-resident foreign tourists. But traveling to Colombia, which also has a history of racism against black people, is not without risk. Shortly before Watson's visit, the U.S. Embassy in Bogotá issued a warning about 8 suspicious deaths of U.S. citizens in Medellin between November 1st and December 31st. Last year, the embassy warned that robbers were drugging tourists in the country with scopolamine, a drug nicknamed Devil's Breath. For months, Watson tried to find out how her son died and what happened to his wallet and electronics. She called and emailed the U.S. Embassy, which told her in March that the autopsy would be finished in 3 months, she said. The autopsy determined that Omar Watson died as a result of an interlobular pulmonary thromboembolism associated with right deep vein thrombosis, and determined his cause of death was natural, the email said. The forensics investigator ruled out signs of violence or trauma to the body, it said. Deep vein thrombosis typically develops when a blood clot forms in the leg. The risk is higher when people are sitting in tight spaces for long periods, including while traveling. Pulmonary embolism is a life-threatening condition that occurs when a clot breaks off and travels to the lung, cutting off blood flow.